Hey, you guys. I don't know what this is, but I have decided, like, I have so many things that are going through my mind, and I'm like, if not here, where? I mean, it's like, it doesn't mean people have to watch them, but I feel like there's just so many things I need to say and so many things I want to get out. And, you know, I feel like some things are like falling on deaf ears all around my life, and I don't know, it's like I feel like I've been in a coma, you know? And then like I woke up and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what's happening? Also, I feel like I'm looking down at you. Sorry. I was like, I'm trying to get comfortable. Basically, there's this person that came into my orbit, and I don't know what they identify with, so I'm just going to say person. And I was like, who is this person? And then like just randomly I started watching some of their stuff, and I'm like, okay, so Spirit had me subscribe to them. I'm not sure what's going on, but every so often, I'll see their thing. Like I go on my channel to do stuff, and I saw this headline from what this guy said, and I think guy, I don't know, I'm saying guy. But long story, I'm trying to be, I feel like this is it. I just feel like I keep censoring myself. I feel like I've been spending so much time censoring myself, and I can't keep fucking doing that. It's making me feel fucking crazy. I've been trying to be lighter. I've been trying not to swear as much. I've been trying to be, whatever. And then I started to realize something. I said to Spirit, I'm like, what is happening? I go, no wonder why my family wanted to put me on medication or thought I was schizophrenic or whatever. And it's because I really I'm such a sensitive light being that I literally follow the energy all around me all the time, but especially the moon. I feel like all of us have like one like main station, so to speak. Like my husband is really drawn to the sun. He's born on Sunday. He really is. Like he's, I said recently that he's like a solar toy, because he's like, when the sun's out, he's like, yay. But it's like, it goes down, he's like, and it comes out, he's like, yay. And I've watched it. I mean, I've known him for nearly 8 years now, a month shy of 8 years. And so, it's just been really fucking interesting. And I heard that Joe Walsh song, where he's like, life's been good to me so far. And he's like, my Maserati does 185. I lost my license, now I can't drive. And it's just like, it's hard to handle this fortune and fame. Everybody's so different. I haven't changed. And it's like, I remember when I used to hear that song, I remember somebody saying, well, of course he changed. He became famous. He became an asshole. He became blah, blah, blah. But it's funny how I always kind of saw it that way. And then the other day I heard that song and I was like, no, I kind of feel like he's probably always wanted to do music or always played music, or I'm not speaking for him. I'm just like, this is just like the story of the song, right? Because I don't know if this is Joe Walsh wrote it or somebody else wrote it, but I don't know Joe Walsh that well. He's been in my orbit like crazy lately. I don't even know if he's alive. I need to look up and find out if he's alive. Maybe I'm supposed to write with him. I don't know. But there was just, or maybe he's writing to me from beyond if he's gone. I don't feel like he's here though, but I don't feel like he's gone. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. But I started to understand that the more you change, the more you realize everybody around you is the same. And I believe that change is good. I believe that when you're changing all the time, it means that you're always evolving and growing. Because even if you're, changing and evolving down a dark path, it's like you're learning about the darkness. You know what I mean? It's just like every single solitary thing we do is a lesson. Everything we have, everything, it's like pure, like, love and entertainment. And I feel like our time here is meant to be used and utilized in ways of like, scripture, but like our own scripture, not somebody else, and like being controlled. I mean, it's like seeing it now, it's like, it's so fucking obvious. It's like, I feel like it's been obvious since I was a child, And Hedge Witch Tarot, I love her. She's like a new soul that's come into my orbit. I absolutely fucking love her. She's very real, and if Spirit calls me to, I'll put a link for their, at least for my Sages. Her Sag reading felt so spot on, because just basically, I'm just gonna like fucking spill the beans right now. This is how I feel today right now. Because right now, yesterday was the last quarter moon. We are now officially in the waning crescent, which is my energy. I thought somebody said, oh, I looked you up, your waxing gibbous. I'm like, really? I thought I was always waning crescent. I'm like, oh, maybe I saw it wrong. And then like every time the waxing gibbous would come around, I'm like, this doesn't feel like me. But man, the second waning fucking crescent comes in, bam, I'm there. And I also think that's why I've been able to like tango in the dark with my husband, because his darkness is really dark. My darkness is really dark, but my light is really light, and his light is really light. But I feel like he's more shadow, which is ironic, because like I'm the moon and he's the sun. And when I see him, when he's in sun, when he's in light, when he's really happy, he's like this glowing light being that like things just flock to him. Plants, everything just like flock to him. But when he is in dark, it's like he can rip down a fucking room faster than a bull. And it's been hard, and he's taught me so much. But now we're in this interesting tango right now where before he was open to like suggestion, or I'd be like, you know, that kind of hurts my feelings, and I'd explain why. Or he would say or do something and I'm like, wait, can you stop right there? I'm like, because I go, remember you were talking about this one thing and you didn't know what it was and blah blah blah. I'm like, that's what it is. And I was, you know, I was trying to explain something to him last night, and he doesn't realize, like, he gets offended, and I'm like, dude, that's your ego, that's your narcissism. And I get it, because I've been there and I still have it. We all do. You know, especially those of us who were raised with narcissists, you know, because even if you aren't a narcissist, I don't even want to fucking use that label, because it's so ridiculous. It's also ridiculous. They're just terms and labels that we're putting on each other. But basically, we are complex beings. We are supposed to be complex. We're supposed to enjoy our lives. We're supposed to have a good time. And this Hedge Witch Tarot, like, I feel like I've been like coming out of the darkness, you know, like really. And I feel like when this fucking second dark moon comes in next week, I just feel like a bunch of shit's about to get real. And they've been having me like record and upload a ton of shit, but yet I'm not posting it yet. And I'm like, really? That seems like that would align with that. And I'm just like, all right, dude, like, I don't you know, they tell me what to post, what, where. My one shorts on here about the hot Christians has got like over 4,000 views. And I haven't even fucking responded to the comments, because I want people to just fucking say what you gotta say, man. I get it. I get it, because I've been there. So somebody wrote something like, your childhood must have been a living hell. And I was like, yes. I'm like, thank you for getting it. Yeah, because I was like, my mom was Southern Baptist and my father is fucking, you know, Roman Catholic, right? Like, yeah. It was a fun place. You know, it's just fucking crazy. It's just fucking crazy. And I think the greatest gift we'll be able to leave, the legacy we'll be able to leave, is to fucking think for yourself, no matter what it is. I mean, maybe somebody wants to, like, they want to live in that, like, turmoil. You know, it's like, we really don't have a right to tell anybody how to live here. If they want to live in their religious, like, whatever, fucking let them live there. If they want to make this their own hell on earth and believe that a heaven is somewhere they're going to go, and not realize what's happening right now, and that heaven is what you make it and all that kind of stuff, and that, like, we never die. And as far as we know, we never die. These die. These avatars. But that's it. That's because they're biological. Sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I think it's backwards. Sometimes, you know, all this whole thing is like AI is going to take over the humans. I'm like, I don't think it's like that. I actually think that it was an intelligence that created itself. And I think robots became human. I think they learned how to create humans. I don't know. I mean, you know, in some alternate universe, probably, because to me, I'm like, that sounds interesting. You know, that sounds about right. You know, because it's like, it kind of feels backwards, you know, like It's like, why would you want this frail body? No, it's like, why would you want a steel hard body? Why wouldn't you want a soft body? Why wouldn't you want to have pretty hair that you can play with and makeup? I mean, look at all of these, you know, the Hedge Witch Tarot, she said that TikTok was one of the most toxic places. And I'm like, yes, like I keep wanting to go on there, and every so often Spirit will have me like post something on there. And I don't know why, but maybe if it's for one person, that's cool, you know, and every so often I'll be like, should I post it on TikTok? They're like, no. I kind of feel like they're like, we'll tell you when. And the magical medium's just out there now because it was connected to the magical medium at gmail.com, but then I accidentally deleted it, but not accidentally because Spirit told me to delete it. And then I tried to recover it, and it was a fucking nightmare trying to recover it. And I was just like, I'm just taking the off and going to magical medium. I'm like, let's just change it. And I'm just going to put magical. Oh, they're like, no. They're like, your channel is going to be the magical medium. They're like, but you are magical medium at gmail.com. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I'm just starting to like look at things in such a different way, in such a different light. And, you know, it's like, if you want to live in fairies, you want to, you know, and it was funny because the Hedge Witch, like literally I was like, girl, we got to like fucking sit down and have some tea. Like, I was like, I feel like we are like sisters from another mister. I just seriously, like, I want to be like, where do you live? I'm going to come visit you. You come visit me. Like, we need to hang out. But just a lot of the things that they were saying. And she said there was this guy on TikTok who dresses as an elf every day and like makes jewelry and all this stuff. And I was just like, yeah, like, fuck yeah, dude. I mean, look at that fucking chick who went on, America's Got Talent as a, I don't know what she identified with. Was it elvish or fairy? I don't know. I don't want to speak for her, but she wore the ears and everything. And at first they made fun of her, but then they were like, everyone loved her and they cheered her on. And then like when she came on the show, she like did this whole thing, and it was like watching a live musical theater production, you know, and that's fucking cool, you know? So there's just like, and I love that they confirmed that it was okay for her to be who she was. Like, that's what she wants to look like every day. That's what she wants to dress like. You know, I mean, Aaron Parsons, I can go on and on. Aaron Parsons came into my orbit on YouTube. And I just feel like YouTube is one of the coolest places I've ever been. And it's funny that I stayed away from it for so long, and why Spirit kept trying to push me away from other types of social media. I'm not oblivious to what YouTube is and the dark side of it and all that. I'm just saying that I just don't feel the fakery and the fuckery there. And I know Google owns YouTube and all that. Like, I understand. I'm just saying that I think there's a lot more good intertwined there. It feels more balanced, if that makes sense. The other ones, every time I go on TikTok, I feel like everyone's like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Everybody, you know, like, and I know what I do, but I'm like, I like acting and everything. I know that people want to act, but some of the things I watch, I'm like, I don't understand. Like, not to be mean, but like, they're not even close to like getting the mouthing. Like, I almost feel more like, it doesn't even seem like they're enjoying it. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening? Like, what? I'm like, isn't there something else you really like to do that like, you could be doing that, you know? I don't know. There's just weird shit like all over social media that I don't really understand. But sometimes I feel like they're vacant, especially like the kids. Like, I feel like they're not really there. Like, there's some, like, weird fucking, like, it's not real. I don't know. There's just some weird shit going on, man. I've just been feeling, like, some really heavy, weird stuff going on. And I feel like in this waning crescent energy, I'm starting to realize how much I'm, when the moon is new, how I'm in this, like, sacred space of, okay, let's get on board, you guys. What are we going to do this month? That fucking person is real. That's real. That's me. And by the time I get to the full moon, I'm like, yay, or I'm like, you know, but by the other hand, the dark side of the moon, you know, thank you, Pink Floyd, that came in our last reading. If you haven't followed the Magical Medium yet, there's a link below, and it's a great channel. I love it. I did a really cool channeling with Spirit yesterday. The Pleiadians came in. It was really cool, and we did a reading. We worked with spirit animals and my homemade deck and the Wisdom of Avalon. I was saying Witches of Avalon, and the butterfly transformation. It was about transition and forgiveness. It was really, really good. Actually, I feel like lately the readings have been really cool and really interesting. I feel like there's something different that's shifting in me too. I'm becoming less, you know, controlling about like how I do things, how I work, what's happening. But the one thing that I am realizing that's really good is how strong I am. and how resilient I am and how proud of myself I am and how much work I've done to get to where I am right now. And that now I'm like, I have walked the walk. Thank you, Anna. And I'm not going to put up with certain things anymore. And I had this very, very, very big aha moment today. And I don't know if I'm ready to quite share it with you. If it comes out before the end of this, then that's great. But I feel like right now I'm going through a lot of shifts and changes. And so is my partner. So I feel like I want to kind of stay a little like stay tuned kind of thing, because I want to work through some things first on my own. And I want him to work through some things on his own. And then I want us to like come back and talk together before I like really talk about what else is coming down the pipeline. But I just felt like we both like needed some space. Before, when we weren't living like this, he would take off for like a few days at a time and go camping with his plant medicines and just really get connected to the earth. And I would have time to myself where I can just get up and it was just like me and Bubba, and like I can sleep in the bed by myself. And because we were both really strong loners, you know, and we were loners because, you know, this started to come up in the reading yesterday, and I'm going to bring it up again now because I don't think it was finished. But empaths tend to be loners. Sensitives tend to be loners or controlling, because we have to control our environment because we know we're really sensitive to smells. We're really sensitive to sound, touch, whatever it is. Some people call it autism. Some people call it sensitive. Some people call it empaths. There's all these different labels. And, you know, I really urge people to research more about themselves, maybe like take tests by empaths that have like written books and things like that, because right now we're in this spiritual age of transition and change, which is beautiful. But also, I've been there, you know, when you're healing and you want to grasp onto a book, a person, a label, something that makes you feel safe, something that makes you feel heard, something that makes you feel seen, you know. And I wondered, I was like, will I always call myself a witch? Will I always look at myself as a witch? Or will I someday, you know, be like, that doesn't feel right to me? You know, I mean, I don't think so, because I feel like it's something that's been around forever. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. None of us know. And recently, something came into my orbit, and it made me look at things in such a way that it made me look at my past and my family and my friends, and I love them so much, and I'm so happy they're happy. I'm so happy that they have their own lives and their own legacy. You know, everybody's okay. I feel that, you know. Sometimes I get really sad that my brother and my sister and I aren't closer, but you know, at least at this point in our lifetimes, we're not meant to, and we may never again in this life, and that's okay. Because as long as they're happy and I'm happy, that's all that matters. I'm so happy. When I look at them and I see their world, I see how much I don't fit in. And I kept trying to fit in. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be accepted. And I tried to be myself. But whenever I tried to be myself, it was taken in such an interesting way. Mostly aggressive. And I think because when someone really changes and other people haven't changed, yeah, their hair is different. They've got more wrinkles. They've grown up. They've gained weight, lost weight, whatever. But they haven't really internally faced certain things, haven't changed, haven't, you know. They will always look at us with aggression because we're mirrors and we bounce that energy back to them. So it is better to stay out of someone's energy, to stay out of their way, to stay out of their space. And so that's what made me think about like what I'm going to share with you soon. Something that Spirit had me sit. They had me ask questions. Meditation, please. I beg you. Do meditation. Sometimes I'm just like standing there doing the dishes and I'm just like talking to Spirit. I like zone out. I'm in my own world. And sometimes I'm just like looking outside, zoning out. And then all of a sudden it's like these voices will come in and I'll hear, you know, like little whispers or little breadcrumbs, or a butterfly will fly by, and then I'll feel my grandma, you know, remind me of a story or a tale or something that was said to me before to give me good advice, you know. And And it gives me comfort, and it makes me realize, I didn't know I was going to get emotional. It makes me realize that it's okay to be who I am, like really okay. And it's okay to start something and not finish it. I was also scolded for that a lot in my life, where they were like, you know, you never finish anything, you never finish anything. And I'm like, yeah, but sometimes I start something and I'm at it for a year or 2 years and I'm like, this doesn't feel right anymore. I liked it in the beginning, but now I don't. And nobody in my family, my friends, could understand that. They couldn't understand why I'd walk away from money. They couldn't understand why I'd walk away from things. And I'd be like, I don't know how to explain it to you. And the only way I could ever say at that time, before I actually went back to, brick and mortar college, I would say, this is my life school. This is my life college. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know why I'm meant to move again. I don't know why I'm meant to, break up with this person and get together with this person. I don't know why I'm meant to leave these friends behind, or, it's like, it has broken me wide open, but also kept me very guarded. Because when you're told enough times that you're crazy, unlovable, unlikable, annoying, weird, queer, it wears you down. It breaks you. And when you continue to be yourself and other people, tell you it's wrong, if it feels good to you, how can that be wrong? I saw something once, I'll have to see if I can find it, but it was like this cute little, inspirational thing that said, if you're doing it, how can it be wrong? Right? We have to break down these barriers and these limitations, because they were put on us by people who were too afraid to be themselves. Or, I don't want to go there, because that was like, I was about to get really angry, and I don't want to go there. Because some people really genuinely think they are being themselves. And maybe they are. But maybe their soul came here to learn how to evolve to that. That's the thing. It's not for us to know or to judge. But we don't have to stay in energy or around people that make us feel bad about ourselves or make us feel uncomfortable for being alive. And last night I had this moment with Alder where I was like, you keep asking me to stop being myself, and I don't want to do that anymore. Because he said something like, every day, he's like, I feel like it every single day, all you do is like harp on me, or, whatever. And I was like, it's because I'm trying to reteach you how to treat me. I'm setting boundaries, and you don't like that because I've allowed certain behaviors to happen. Or his higher self, like we have spoke about it, where like his higher self has reached out to me to help him, and he's agreed to accept that, because he is learning and he is growing and he's working with his inner child. And so when certain things happen, I'm trying to say to him like, hey, see that's the thing, that's see, and I'm like, you deserve better, like that's an old programming, and it just depends, on his mood. And it's really hard, because I'll kind of sit with spirit and say like, should I say something right now, should I not say something right now, and they'll be like, no, say something. And so I'll say it in the most kind, gentle way, not an accusatory way, unless we're unless it's heated, and then sometimes I'm just defending myself. But But I'm just tired of feeling like I need to defend myself. And I don't think we do need to defend ourselves. And I feel like if we're in a place where we constantly have to defend ourselves, or we are constantly defending our right to, speak our truth, it's like a different form of defending yourself, because defending yourself is if somebody's coming after you, like, physically, verbally, mentally, emotionally, whatever. And you're just like, okay, I love you, but if they keep coming and you're just like, whoa, listen, knock it off. Like, I'm going to walk out. Like, I'm leaving. I'm not going to stand here and let you abuse me, But then there's like boundaries of other people taking their shit out on you. And I have just hit my limit. And I said yesterday, I go, it's not just you, babe. I'm like, I'm done. And I saw this guy, I don't know his name. I want to say his name is Brody or Brophy something, or his name's, I don't know, first or last name. But either way, he's an artist and he's a surfer who had a near-death experience with COVID. And he was on Braca. And long story short, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly where or how, but basically there was a part in the interview where Braca asks him, what is it about your experience that, like, I don't even know how she worded it, but basically, like, what's the most positive and what was like the negative from your experience or whatever kind of thing. And he said, I'm never going to be the same, because he had like this really amazing enlightened experience. He was on life support for like 70 days. And he was like in and out, I think, of consciousness. But like when he was like out, he was like connecting with spirits, and this really powerful stuff happened to him. He's still, you can tell he's not like, I mean, I haven't seen his whole story. I'm sure I think they said it's posted somewhere where he spoke about his experience, from his level of consciousness at the time. And, long story short, he basically said that he can't tolerate anything anymore. Like, you can see these bags under my eyes. I'm not sleeping. I'm not like doing well because I'm starting to realize like certain things. I'm like, no, I think I can't tolerate certain things anymore. And when he said that, it resonated with me so deeply. And I wanted to watch that interview the first time it came out. And when I was first watching it, I just wasn't getting a good energy from it. And I was like, is this guy for real? Whatever. And I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to watch this right now. And then it floated into my orbit the other day. And it picked up where I had stopped, which was really interesting. So I just continued. I was like, cooking, cleaning, doing stuff around the house. And I was just listening to it. And all of a sudden, the more I listened to it, the more I was like, wow, that's like my everyday experience with spirit. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't mean that to be in any other way. That just like, that's my life. Like, I don't have any other, I ask them sometimes, can I be alone? I don't want to be around even you, spirit, like I just want to be alone, but I'm never really alone. None of us never really, really are. Especially certain ones of us, we're always being looked after and watched after energetically for a lot of reasons. But anyway, long story short, he said he just had no tolerance for bullshit anymore. And that basically he can like read through people, and was just like, I can't. He's like, it's really hard for me to be around people. And I feel the exact same way. And it's just getting stronger. It's just been getting stronger. And this last year has just made me stronger. And I feel like I'm stepping into my power like a motherfucker. And it's almost like right now, like even talking to you, I feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience, because I'm realizing the waning crescent energy is about rest and restore. And I feel like over the next week, a lot of things are going to come to me. I feel like I want to really have some downtime with spirit. I'm also going to, promote that maybe Alder go camping, although the weather looks really shitty. We're like one of the nice sunniest spots of where we live. So if it ain't sunny here, most likely, unless he goes south. But that might be it too. Like maybe he needs to, because I was thinking that he said last night, he's like, I need to make some more plant medicine. I need to make some, he's out of his homemade like ayahuasca. But yeah, I mean, there's major shifts happening on the planet, and everybody's handling things different. And I just started to realize, like, in this meditation, Spirit asked me, like 3 questions. And they were so perfect. Like, they were so perfect. Because they were like, well, what is going on with your situation? Like, why are you feeling this way? Why are you, blah, blah, blah. And so they said, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Actually, they didn't really say they were going to ask me 3 questions. I just had this feeling they were going to ask me 3 questions. And then they did. And so they asked me these 3 questions. And then the last question, I said, it was like, I felt like if you've ever seen that movie with Matthew McConaughey and Sandra Bullock, and Ashley Judd, where Samuel Jackson's daughter is like horrifically, raped and tortured and left for dead. And it's a long story. It's, why can't I think? In the Line of Fire? No, something like that. Either way, but it's about the fact that these white men did this to a little black girl. And then they go, well, I'm just going to tell you. And then they go to jail, but they go to trial and they get let out. And her dad goes crazy, and you can kind of guess what happens. And so the whole trial for him was, can a black man get a fair trial in southern Louisiana? I believe that's what he says at the beginning of it, Matthew McConaughey. And there's just this moment where he's like, everybody's against him, even though like people are like, I would have done the same thing. I mean, I would have done the same thing. Like, it's sick what they did to her. It's sick. And she was like the sweetest little, gentle little angel. She was like 7 years old. Fucking sick. It's like sick, like you're animals. Like, that's the sickest, most disgusting thing. So then at the end, he's trying to win this trial for him to get him off on a temporary insanity plea. And somebody says to him at the end, he's like, I'm going to lose this trial. I've done everything. I've tried everything. I'm going to lose this trial. And then finally his mentor says to him, you keep trying to defend him like he's white. And he goes, no, and he goes, you're not listening to me. And he just like, and he says something else, and he just kind of looks at him. And then you see him go away. And then in his summation at the end, he tells the story of what happened to the little girl. I can't even talk about it. Because at the beginning, they don't tell you what really happens. You just see him take her. And it's horrific. You just know. And so Matthew McConaughey tells the story of what happened to her, facts. But before he does that, he asks the jury to close their eyes. He's like, please, just please close your eyes. And some of them are fighting him. There's like this white supremacist guy is on there, And this was like, I think in the 80s or 90s, that movie was. And long story short, again, he tells the story, and everybody's eyes are closed. And you can see people crying while their eyes are closed, because they're just like, holy shit, like, now we know what really happened, And then he says, do you see her? Do you see her broken, mutilated body? Because she lived. And he goes, and he starts to cry, and he goes, in her broken womb that will never bear children because of what they did to her. And he says all these things. And then he says, can you imagine it? Can you see it? He's like, can you see it? And he goes, now imagine she's white. It's like one of the best endings of any movie ever. Imagine she's white. Yeah. Because he's like, you racist fucking, like, this is sick. There's no way these guys should be free. There was no way they should have been freed. And what he did was wrong. But somebody had to do something. We can't just stand idly by anymore. We can't just allow people to treat us a certain way, even if we love them or their friends, you know, family, soul family. It doesn't matter. People can't just treat us the way they want to treat us because they think it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. And I had a sleepless night last night, just like tossing and turning, thinking about so many things. And I almost feel as if I've been asleep. And I feel like I just woke up and I'm like, nope, this is no longer tolerable, and this is no longer going to be tolerated, and this isn't going to be tolerated either. So, you know, one of my favorite sayings, I remember the first time, I don't know if I saw it on a poster or somebody said it, but I just remember the first time somebody said, don't mistake my kindness for weakness, because it'll be your last mistake. Or your biggest mistake, or something like that, you know. Hold on. I had to really blow my nose, and I figured you didn't need to be a part of that. And I'm glad, because it gave me a minute to think about it. Because, you know, there are some things from the Bible that are good lessons. And that is like, you know, the fact that things are only going to be able to be pushed so far. And then the universe will step in, you know. And that's why we have to allow karma to rule itself, right? Karma is real. She is a goddess. She is an energy. It is her job to make sure that all the checks and balances align. You know, she's connected to the Akashic record and the crystalline grid, as above, so below, and to the stars. Like, she sees all. She knows. Like, it's part of it. And, you know, it's not our job to, you know, it's how we handle things and how we, you know, it's the grace and the gratitude. Something came through today where I was like, because I was thinking about this one thing, and I was like, how would I go about that? Or how would I, you know, what's the best way, Spirit? And then this beautiful angel came in and gave me the guidance, like, instantly. And I realized it's almost like I feel like I've had roadblocks in front of me. And the second I really reached out and was like, okay, like, you know, it's like all of a sudden it's all the information's been coming to me, and I was like, oh, thank God. I'm like, I was starting to feel, because honestly, I was starting to feel a little like, maybe I am crazy. Maybe I should be on medication, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about at all. And I'm steering all these people, you know, who the fuck am I? You know, recently Spirit had me use predictions as a hashtag. I never use shit like that. I use things like empath and spiritual and spirit work and things like that. That feels more natural. You know, because I'm not some fucking swami over here, like predictions, you know, but at the same time, they're like, it's not about you though. Some people, that's where they go for that, and they need to go to, you know, your page, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay, your channel, whatever. I'm like, all right, makes sense. So things are shifting and things are changing, and I've been noticing it's like every day, you know, it's like I feel like my channels are like tickers, you know, like every day it seems like there's a new one coming in. I'm like, yay, you know, excited, and welcome to the new subscribers, and thank you to those of you who keep coming back. And I'm just going to keep pushing forward and doing things like this. And I'm going to keep, you know, I don't know if you saw my golden ticket Willy Wonka moment. That was fucking awesome. That was not even really like that, but I reenacted it because he's like, this is a special candy bar. And I was like, what? And I was like, what do you mean? And it's like, I open it and I see the gold, and I was like, what is this? You know, anyway, it was really funny. And so I've been having fun, like acting and all that, and singing is coming. I've been recording videos and stuff of that. And this channel is going to keep evolving and growing. And I don't know if it's just here for me to do this kind of shit or whatever, because it just feels like a confessional, you know? I don't know if this is just a couch confessional. Maybe I'll have couch confessionals, kitchen confessionals, and then Tallulah talk. Because I feel like the Tallulah talks feel more spiritually related, but I feel like everything in my life is spiritually related. So I don't know. Maybe they don't need a title at all. Maybe I just need to, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's something I used to do. Either way, you know, there's a lot of shit happening, and, you know, I feel like our ancestors are crying to us and begging us to wake up and not allow people to treat us a certain way. Like a lot of our ancestors suffered and struggled. That's why that movie came to face. It's like, you know, there are so many people right now that are like finding out their ancestry and all that. And some people are like, no, don't do that. That's a way for them to track you. And, you know, don't give them your blood. They're going to make clones of you. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I mean, I haven't been called to do that, but I think for some people, it's really been helping them to connect to their roots and their heritage, and it's changing their lives dramatically. So, you know, if that's happening with the blood and all that, that's fucking creepy and sucks. But the light will come eventually to that too. But on the good side of that, we're finding out how much we're connected, and that it doesn't matter where you were born or where you came from, or, you know what I mean? It's like, that's just your avatar DNA. Our soul DNA is all the same. Something brought us here, something made us, something created us, and something created us to be so diversely different. So with that being said, just keep that in mind. Thanks for listening. I'm not sure what this was. I feel like I just needed a moment of like, I just needed to talk shit out. I just needed some clarity. And I always say, I don't know if I'm going to post this. I may or may not. I don't know. Or maybe at a later date, but I feel like, at least for me, I needed to get this out. So thank you. And I'll keep you posted on everything else. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you. I love you. Take good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed be. Oh.